Hey bosses, it's Nina. So today we're going to be talking about Skype. Now, if you missed my intro to Skype, I did an overview in a separate video where we go over all of the buttons and features and just Skype Messenger. And actually, that's what I should have called it. It's all of the features of Skype Messenger. In this video, we're going to be going through how to run a Skype meeting. Now, this is going to be a series of videos all about Skype for Business, just to be clear. And I'll be going over, and it's going to be probably between 4 and 6 videos. I already did the overview. Then today we're going to go over how to run a meeting. Then Skype for Business broadcasting. Some people aren't aware that you have Skype for Business, which is in front of you, and you can run your meeting. And your meetings are used more for collaborations, groups under 250 people, and kind of working on projects, things like that. When it comes to webinars and broadcast or anything that's going to be over 250 people, or just in general where you want an audience to really just kind of consume information, that's going to be Skype for Business broadcast. So I'll create a separate video on that. Then you're also, I'm going to create a video on how to schedule meetings and webinars and how to kind of use Skype for Business as a small business owner and a couple of other things. So for now, let's just jump into the nitty gritty. So in this case, I do have Skype for Business on my desktop. I am just going to do a quick meeting. I'm going to do Meet Now. And I'm going to tell you guys, I am not at home. I'm in a hotel room right now. So I'm using my laptop here. And then I have two of my phones that I'm going to actually join the meeting. So crossing my fingers that this works. I have a persona that I've created. So this is not me. I'm going to have a couple of just kind of fake persona peoples in here. Um, in Skype for Business, I've already created, I've already went to meetings. I'm going to go ahead and click on Meet Now. Okay, there's 3 options, and let me just go over these quickly. If you are going to record the meeting, you're going to want to choose Use Skype for Business Full Audio and Video Experience. That means you don't need an external phone or anything like that. You can simply just plug in your earphones and start start the meeting that way. You could also use the Call Me feature, and you could type in your phone number and it will call you. Again, if you're going to record, at least one person needs to be using the Skype for Business full audio and video experience, but all of your attendees can use the other option. The last one says don't join audio. A lot of times if you have a separate number, so maybe you're using a conference call number or you're calling out to that person and you don't necessarily want to use Skype's internal numbers internal processes for calling in, you can actually send out a number with your invitation. Okay, I'm going to keep this on Use Skype for Business Full Audio Experience. I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting. Now, usually what you're going to have, and let me mute this so I don't start getting feedback. You're going to have a meeting that you've already set up. People have links, etc. But there's times you might start a quick meeting and you have to invite people. That's what I'm going to do now. And let me just look at who I'm inviting. We're going to start in the top right-hand corner. So the top right-hand corner, you can add additional people. Now, within a business, you can actually add people that are on your Skype list of favorites and groups. I'm going to go ahead and pull in Kelly and Molly. And I don't know if you could hear that, but my phone is ringing. I'm going to accept it. The call has started, and I'm going to mute myself. Okay, so Kelly has joined. Now I'm going to go ahead and add Molly. Now, one thing to keep in mind is on that side, on the other side, that person will receive a pop-up or a request. If they're on their desktop, they'll get a pop-up. It's not going to add them to the meeting automatically. And this is Molly ringing now. Now, Molly is joining via audio only, so let me just change that. I am on the phone. There we go. So Molly is now in Skype. Okay, now we have people in the meeting. Let me just make sure. Yes, I've muted them. So these are on my phone. from the phone, they have, I would say, almost a full experience because you can still join via video. You can still participate in some of the whiteboards that I'll show you, or excuse me, some of the discussions, except for the whiteboard. I think that's the only feature that they can't participate in. Okay, so we're going to go from left to right to bottom, so counterclockwise, so I can explain to you all of these features. So we already know that you can add people here, but you can also type in email addresses, phone numbers, add external contacts. I'm going to go up to the top right. This is where you're going to explain to people what to select. So you'll see gallery view and speaker view. So whoever's speaking, you'll usually see their picture or their video, right? If they have videos. And then gallery view shows everyone. When you are presenting content, you're also going to see content view. I always start with telling my people who join to view the content view. It's a trick I learned with one of the vendors that I work with, or the partners that I work with, that basically helps you just see the screen. All right, let's move on. This just tells me the network quality. So if you start seeing things that are shaky or that it's, people are dropping, have them check their network quality. This tells you how long you've been online, right? Your participants are in your left-hand corner. And let me bring out a couple of things. Of course, your participants are here. They're also here. Sometimes if they don't have a picture, you will not see them. You'll see like a little gray box. You can right click and notice it says mute, unmute, remove from meeting. What's going to happen is if I unmute, and I wonder if I can do this, I may be able to have you guys hear this. Let's see. Nope. So what happens is if I unmute Kelly on her side, she's going to get a notification saying the presenter has unmuted you. If you'd like to unmute, I believe it says press *6. So even though I'm unmuting Kelly, that she's muted herself, she still has the opportunity to remain muted. Speaking of muted, I'm going to go ahead and skip some of these things really quick and go all the way down to the bottom and go to participant actions. What I like to do is keep this up when people are joining the meeting and I click on mute audience. You can also set that before you start the meeting when you're scheduling the meeting. We're not going to go through those features here, but in my other video on how to schedule meetings, I can go over those, right? I'm going to close the participant options and we'll come back to those. So again, right clicking here on the picture or at the top here, I'm going to go ahead and do that. It gives you the same options to mute and unmute. Now, if you're in an organization, you can click on see cards. And what you can do is you can see their phone number, you can see their schedule, and a lot more information about that person, where they are. But if you're just working, if you have your own Skype for Business account, you're not going to be able to see that about your participants. This is also where you can mute their video and their screen sharing, all of those kind of things. Okay, again, this is the participant toggle that you could toggle on or off. Okay, there is a feature, and this is me, so let's go down to somebody else. To remove from meeting, be very cautious. Be very cautious because it's very hard to get someone back into the meeting after you remove them. You're booting them out, and it's right next to unmute. Okay, couple of things about Skype for Business. If you're in the same organization, a school, a business, anything that's set up with the same email address, you can, well, by default, when someone joins the meeting, it starts. So what that means is, say I, Karen, started the meeting, I created the meeting and invited everyone, but I haven't joined yet. Anyone from my organization who joins the meeting actually starts the meeting. So that means there's no more running to meetings to make sure you're okay, or if you're late, the meeting's not on hold because of you. Again, this is another setting that you can change, but I just love it because we're moving towards a more collaborative work environment. So what you're going to want to do is just leave that feature. The reason I say that is if at any point you don't want, I'm sorry, let me step back. Because they are actually one of the participants that can start the meeting, they can also start sharing. So I don't have to give Molly access to share her screen. Kelly doesn't have to ask me, hey, Nina, pass that over to me so I can share my screen. either of them can start sharing at any time. Now, I always get the question, well, isn't that going to disrupt the meeting? Aren't people going to jump in? And you have to think about this. I have never seen anyone just all of a sudden share their screen unless you're talking about it. People do realize that they are sharing their screen, and I haven't seen a circumstance where someone's just going to start sharing for no reason or the middle of your presentation, but hey, it could happen. So with that in mind, what you can do is right click, and instead of having them be a, actually, hold on, there you go. You can actually make them an attendee. So notice at the top are presenters and bottom people are attendees. So that means that Molly and Kelly, once I make them attendees, can no longer just share or present, right? They actually have to request access. Again, in the mode of collaboration and where we're going through, you don't really want to change them to attendees unless that's necessary. Again, these people are in your organization. You can set those settings in advance, and I'll give you some more tips about that a little bit later. Okay, let's see if I could hide this at the bottom so I can get to the next step. Give me 1 second. Okay, so while this toggle is on, you can go all the way to the bottom. And again, the participant actions, this is how you control the entire meeting. So you can mute and unmute everyone. This is such a gift. I'm going to close this. I think this is because I accidentally clicked on invitation at one point to invite more people and did something with my Outlook. Okay, you can unmute and mute your audience. You could turn off the instant messenger, which I'm going to show you in just a second, so there's no conversations. Turn off your video, hide the names. There's all kinds of things that you can do in here, but the point is you have control. And the times I would use that is if you're presenting to a large group and you really don't want a lot of conversation going on, you don't want people turning on their videos, you can turn those off and you can turn on the Q&A feature, which we'll go through in just a second. Okay, so I'm gonna go down to the bottom here. When you're starting your Skype for Business meeting, I always tell people first to click on the comments area in your lower left-hand corner. Okay, in your lower left-hand corner, this is the comments area. Notice people can attach files. I'm gonna go to desktop and let's go to MS Office, and it's attaching it to the content for the meeting. Okay. There's memes, you can do links, all of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and close both of these, and it's back to our window here. Now at the bottom right, we're gonna skip this over here. On the bottom right, there's a couple of additional options. You can start the recording. I'm gonna go ahead and starting the recording. Now everyone on the call, and I'm looking at my phone, I actually see there's a red bar that says someone is recording this meeting. So they do know that. And in the top right hand corner, you can always check and you'll see that recording. I'm going to go ahead and click on stop recording. Notice you can stop and pause. If you're going to record anything else in the meeting, you are going to pause it. But if you're not, you can go ahead and stop it. We'll manage the recordings a little bit later. This is also where you have additional features like changing the text display, the font, making certain messages high priority, just a lot of the options that you can change. I'm going to go into just a few. So if I go into meeting entry info, okay, this is the conversation, or this is the phone number that people can call into for this meeting. Now, if you do not have a phone number associated with your Skype for Business, because it is an extra fee, you won't have this information here. You may just have the meeting link, right? Notice there is find a local number. So if someone's calling in from another country or another area, you can have them find a number to call in there. Again, if you don't have the option for a meeting number, you'll just see the link. You'll also see Skype meeting options here. And this is where I told you, remember with the participants and how you control them. You can actually set some of these. So you can come in before your meeting and set this. And then also in Outlook, when you schedule it, you could set some of these features. So this says these people don't have to wait in the lobby. So by default, everyone just comes directly into the meeting. However, you can say the meeting, excuse me, anyone from my organization doesn't have to wait in the lobby, or just the meeting organizer or people I invite, excuse me. What this means is if you start the meeting and maybe you have your team or people within your organization, you want to do a quick powwow before you let everyone in to the meeting or the training, you can actually have them wait in kind of a waiting or lobby area. Or you can simply do that for all of your attendees. Announce when people enter or leave. I do not like that because it interrupts meetings, but it's a feature that you have. Okay, who can present? Again, anyone from your organization by default can present. Some organizations are set up for anyone to go ahead and present, or you can just say scheduled presenters or anyone from my organization. So again, that's that attendee versus presenter option that we saw on the top left-hand corner. Okay, who can annotate PowerPoint presentations? That's when you kind of write on the PowerPoint presentations when you are presenting. And then who can actually look at the content on their own. And I'm going to show you where that is in just a minute. You can upload content in advance of your meeting. Okay, I'm going to move to the left. Again, if you don't have the call information or you don't have phone numbers attached, which is an additional cost, you won't see this, but you can, in the middle of the meeting, transfer this to your cell phone if you have your cell phone number set up, or actually type in a number. So for instance, if you're sitting in a conference room or at your desk and now you're going to leave for the day and the conference has went over, you can transfer it to your phone. Okay, moving on to the nitty-gritty. This is your video camera. I am not going to turn that on because, again, I've had a long day and I don't want to go through all of that. The next one is how you turn on and off your mic. Notice there is a shortcut. Then presentations. Now this is awesome. This is one way, so you can share your desktop here, that you can present information by just sharing your desktop. Okay. Once you do that, and I'm looking at my phone to see, and now it's displaying on the phones as well. Once I do that, I actually have this little bar at the top, so you can tell that you're searching, that you're sharing your screen. Also, very, very thin yellow bar around the entire screen to let me know that I'm sharing my screen. You can give control to different people so they can control your screen, right? Or what you can do is say give control automatically. So if someone requests on their side, they can request control. Then you don't have to go back and forth to actually give them control. I'm going to stop sharing. Notice you have your Skype for Business messenger over there, this Skype for Business here, and then you still have your actual Skype for Business area where you have your conversations, your meeting control. In the middle here, if you click on share content, you could share specific windows. So that means instead of your desktop, share a specific application. Be careful with that. I've done that and forgot and switched between application. You can I'm going to skip PowerPoint because we're actually going to do that in just a second. Co-author Office documents if you have Office 365, add additional attachments, share notes with OneNote, My Notes, and then there's more. We'll go through those in just a second. I'm going to go down to manage content first. Remember I uploaded the actual logo for Microsoft Office. If anyone is in the meeting, they can actually view that. There are different settings. So see, this would open up that attachment. There are different settings where you can lock it and say who can access that. And there's also additional settings there where you can see the information. Now, I'm going to close this. With PowerPoint files, I would always share PowerPoint files this way. Okay, so I selected a PowerPoint for my desktop. Notice I did not say add attachments. I shared my PowerPoint. What that does is it puts it in the screen. I don't have to share my screen. I don't have to share basically anything other than that PowerPoint. And this allows me to scroll through here. What this also does is it allows you to set up automatic presentations. So again, one of the partners that I work with, we upload a PowerPoint presentation that's set on automated or automatic. It has video and automatic slide transitions. So before we start our training, it actually gives the viewer something to see, right? If you're actually going through here and presenting, you have your thumbnails to jump around at the bottom, and you also have your notes on the right-hand side if you included notes, which I did not. What I love is that you can come and upload all of your PowerPoint presentations in advance. So if there's 5 presenters, you can ask for all of their PowerPoint presentations, upload them. You can actually join the meeting days before your meeting and upload all the presentations and then close the meeting and you have them there. And then anyone who's presenting can just go into manage content. And when it's time for them to present, they can actually select their PowerPoint presentation or any of the other documents that they will be sharing. Okay, let's close it out with a couple of other things. I'm going to go up down to more. Couple things that I love is there is a poll. So you can add different questions and add a poll for your audience to answer. You can also, I'm going to go to more, go to Whiteboard. And this is supposed to emulate being in an office and using the actual whiteboard. And if you have a touch screen, this works, but anybody in this actual meeting can actually use this to whiteboard something. You can upload pictures, right? I don't have too many pictures, so I'm going to stop that there. You can upload pictures. You can just kind of, it's supposed to be like a whiteboarding session. The caveat here is that anyone on their phones cannot participate and they cannot see it. And let me look at my phone now. It says content cannot be viewed on mobile apps, okay? And this is the only thing that I know that you can't do that. But what I would do is you can actually, after you create it, your right-hand corner, you can click the ellipses, and then you can click on Save As and save it as an image or paste it somewhere and then just share it with the audience that way. I've literally done this, saved it, and then sent it out to participants as we're doing it, okay? It helps if you have an actual moderator doing that as well. All right, so in general, we've went over all of the options or actually features for running an actual meeting. Now, I always say when in doubt, all you have to do is go to the 4 corners to find what you need, right? And what you can do is, and I'm going to show you, after your meeting, you can get to your recordings a couple of different ways, okay? If I'm in my meeting, I can click on Manage Recordings, right? But I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting. Again, if it's me and there's a group of people, if I end the meeting, it will just end it for me and I will jump out of it, right? Notice that I can rejoin the meeting at any time. However, if you want to end it for everyone, usually to give you that option when there's several people. But in this case, there's still people that are on and they are from my organization. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Okay. And again, staying with the recorded meetings, I can go to my start menu and type Skype. And notice you'll see Skype for Business Recording Manager. It's still kind of running through the meeting here. It does take a little bit, not a lot, but it takes a little bit to kind of process after your meeting. A couple of things. You could leave it exactly where it is. You could play it. You could rename it. Publishing it gives you additional options, and we're going to have to wait for a second so I can show you the publishing options. So give me 1 second. For some reason, this is stuck at pending. It has never happened to me before. Not sure what's going on, so I'm going to wrap this up by saying this. When you publish, you have several different options. Remove comments, remove screen sharing, whatever you'd like to do. I think it's 5 or 6 check boxes. I didn't want to hold up the entire video for just that portion, but Skype for Business is an awesome application and it comes with your Office 365. So hopefully you'll use it a lot more. I will be doing more videos. Comment below with any of your questions. Make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you can get notifications. Alrighty, ciao.